Good morning. So, after having rested well after yesterday's exhausting exertions, I've gone back to revisit yesterday's press around the word selfishness because it hadn't really gone away. And in my own experiences, I find that in the moment that I'm doing something and focusing on something, I see it and experience it and feel it and taste it and smell it in a certain way because I'm wrapped up in it in that way at that moment. But when I've taken a step back from it, regained some balance and focus, and then revisit it again, I get more, even deeper, relevant information about myself and data to process about that. And that's what has happened today with regards to selfishness that I was sharing with you yesterday. And it was difficult yesterday when I came across a photo album, very old photo album. As I was thinning my life down, there's this tremendous urge in my world right now to thin my life down. And mind you, there's not a lot in it. Everything that's in my world has come to me. I'm not one that goes shopping. So thinning it down takes a lot of contemplation to make sure I'm doing the right thing because these things came to me for a reason. And coming across this photo album, I instantly knew what it was, but I didn't recall what was in it. And the very first page I opened was pictures of Star, whom I previously referenced in discussing Nostradamus relevancies in my life, and pictures of her two sons, one of whom I was engaged to, and the other was my best friend, who had been involved with a couple of my friends. His name was Mark. Well, Mark completed suicide, and I had been thinking about them recently for the very first time in a long time. So it was a shock to my heart to come across these photographs and know exactly what was going on in my world at the time that these photographs were taken, including the picture of Star herself, knowing that what conversation we were having in the moment I had snapped that photograph. And I spent a good deal of time talking angrily and aggressively towards Mark for the decision he had made, and I felt guilty about that. And in a conversation that I had with Maverick earlier today, I mentioned that experience, and I was greatly relieved that he had some education and insight for me around that, when his response was that suicide is the ultimate act of selfishness. It's the ultimate F you. I'm not adverse to that word. I just don't want to offend you. That's all. And it was a very profound moment to me. Just boom. I've experienced suicide loss 3 times in my life, and each time I've experienced some form of guilt around that. Some if-onlys. Yes, we are leading into if-onlys. Some if-onlys around that. Some other internal negative emotional responses. And I had never stopped for a moment to put any blame or responsibility on the person that was no longer with me. And I certainly hadn't gone so far as to use a dark word like selfish to address somebody I loved who had made a decision to no longer be here. So I've spent some time this morning thinking about that, and I completely can agree with that at this point, understanding how I felt, how we all felt, what we went through to get over it, the impact it's had on lives. And at this point, we're talking 30 years. 30 years, and I can still have this emotional conversation about this young man after 30 years. So it's a big deal. People who have experienced this type of loss can understand that. And I know there's some of us out there in this class. So something to think about. That's their selfishness, not our guilt. It's a way of controlling and manipulating somebody and giving them absolutely no defense of themselves. because they spend forever. I wonder if only, I wish, what woulda, coulda, all those things. A particular situation completely altered the course of my future. Completely. Everything that we had planned for our future, gone. And it was just a downhill ride after that of trying to get through grief. Nobody, no relationship, no family could have survived that untraumatized. None. And none of us were any different from that. So it's a control and power and a total narcissistic selfishness. Having experienced that 3 times, I do not feel bad stating those words out loud because I feel it and they're mine. Something to think about for those of you who've also experienced similar things. And then last night, as I'm telling you how above and beyond my sister has gone in motivating me to get some stuff done to me yesterday, as I'm telling you about that, I'm not recognizing the truth of my role in that. And the fact of the matter was that throughout that whole thing, I failed to properly appreciate her for her tremendous and aggressively motivating me to do something I wanted to do that had nothing to do with her. Because I was uncomfortable with what and how she was teaching me, and I was uncomfortable with how less than I felt that I needed to learn that and didn't know how to do it on my own. So after that selfish behavior, I came out and I made a video to talk to you about selfishness, and I completely failed to recognize that I had been behaving selfishly towards her and her husband most of the day in my own discomfort, without any recognition of the discomfort and the inconvenience to which they were subjecting themselves for my benefit. And this morning, rested and clear-headed and more focused, some sense to me, I can go back and revisit this and go deeper and get to this moment of something that was actually happening right now that I was not seeing. And that's a really good example of reasons why we should consider going back and revisiting questions periodically and expanding upon them, because as we go through these things and as moment to moment changes, things that we see and learn about ourselves will change too. We're never the same person. Never. Each breath you take, you're a different person. Each second that goes by, you're a different person. Each hour, each day. So saying I've already done that and I'm on to this now, well, now you're not the same person as you were then. So you might get something even more profound or more depth to the answers if you were to choose to go back and revisit that. So those were 2 relevant examples that were heavily on my mind this morning around selfishness, that brought me great relief and prevented any resentments being built up within my family for me not properly appreciating what they were doing for me. Because I don't want to build up resentments in my family. I love them. But in my selfishness, I did not see what I was doing because I was uncomfortable in a manner that I did not want to be uncomfortable. I can handle discomfort quite well if I want to. So there was an attitude issue going on that I wasn't recognizing there as well. And these are things that happen in our life that we don't necessarily think about. That's a subtle selfishness, where, you think you're engaged in doing something for somebody or with somebody, but it's the core motivation and the attitude in which it's done that determines if it's selfishness or not. I mean, it's great to go up and hand somebody on the street corner that's homeless holding a sign $50, but if the reason you gave them $50 is because you wanted to feel good today, then it was a selfish act. Just be honest about it. I will precursor something I'm about to do with, this is purely selfish. Here you go. because I know I'm doing it to make me feel better, and it has nothing to do with bettering their world. But I won't lie to myself about it when I recognize it. And I'll still do it, and they'll still benefit from it, but it won't be charity. It's completely selfish act, because I need to feel better in that moment, and I'm going to use them to do it. So that is different than out of the goodness of your heart. Now, when I follow instructions or get motivated or some reason moved to take money that I do or don't have and give to somebody for some reason that I do not understand, and they are joyously responsive and calling me an angel, that was not selfishness, because I don't know why I was doing it. It wasn't because I needed to feel better, and I was kind of uncomfortable about it, and I was trepidatious, but I felt great need to do it. So that's different. That's not selfishness. So it comes down to the motivation and the attitude is kind of what I got most out of this morning with regards to the situation with my sister. Is my motivation and my attitude about their sacrifice and their gift to me of their effort and time will determine if I'm receiving it in selfishness or in love, or if it's being given in selfishness or love. So on a deeper level of selfishness, when trying to determine these things about yourself, ask yourself why, and be honest with yourself. I mean, if you're doing something nice for somebody else because it's going to make you feel better, go ahead, be nice to somebody else. For God's sake, be nice to everybody else. But be honest. Makes me feel good, so I'm going to do this, because you got to start somewhere. Baby steps matter. It's part of the mantras I teach people all the time. Baby steps matter. Baby teeth don't come in overnight. Every tiny thing they grow hurts, but it matters. So even if you've got to start being kind out of selfishness because it makes you feel better, for God's sakes, just do it. And then learn how to do it, because it's love and it's the right thing to do, and you'll just always feel good, and you won't have any need to make yourself feel better, because you'll just always feel better. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but I know what I mean, and I'm doing this for a purpose, and my words aren't my own, so that's all that matters, right? So I've got a bit more clarity and depth around if only in my own world, which I have shared a bit with you, and I will expand on that more when the time arrives. I think it'll be sometime later today. But I am also still in the process of this other work, and now that I'm recognizing my behavior around this, I need to participate in it properly today as well. So I hope y'all have a great day. I love you all. Thank you for your time.